It's official. Joe Biden will become the next president of the United States after the country's electoral college declared him the winner. But there's been no concession yet from Donald Trump, as Mr. Biden gave his most scathing criticism yet of efforts to overturn the result.
16 votes for Joseph R. Biden.
State after state cementing their election results.
We made it.
Awarding Joe Biden 306 electoral votes, the same number Donald Trump won in 2016.
At the time, President Trump called the Electoral College tally a landslide. By his own standards, these numbers represented a clear victory then, and I respectfully suggest they do so now.
Saudi Arabia's energy ministry says an oil tanker delivering cargo was hit by a boat full of explosives at Jeddah port. It's described the incident as a terrorist attack. The shipping company Hafnia said its BW Orion vessel was hit by an unidentified external source that caused an explosion and a fire. It comes after another tanker was damaged by a mine off the coast last month. That attack was blamed on Yemen's Houthi rebels.
The greater regional context is obviously United States versus Iran and the maximum pressure campaign, where the Iranians are trying to break out. But I think we shouldn't confuse this with this wider regional context and kind of look at the conflict in Yemen as the local context between Saudi Arabia and the Houthis. Obviously, the Saudis want out. They wanted out of this conflict for the last year now. Obviously, pressure is mounting with the new Biden administration as well for the Saudis to leave this conflict. And the Saudis are probably more willing than ever to make concessions in this conflict to get out of what is a protracted conflict that they know they cannot win.
Kabul's Deputy Governor Mahbubullah Mahebi was killed in a bomb attack in the city on Tuesday, according to security officials. A sticky bomb was attached to his car by unknown assailants. Mahebi was travelling with his security guards when the blast occurred. 2 guards were also injured in the blast. No militant group has made an immediate claim of responsibility for the blast. It comes after an Afghan government prosecutor was shot dead in eastern Kabul while he was on his way to work last week.
London's festive preparations dealt a blow, the capital moving to tighter COVID restrictions that will ban households from mixing and see the hospitality sector shut down again. The Health Secretary warned that a new variant of the virus might in part be behind fast rising infection rates.
The medical advice that we have is that it is highly unlikely that this new variant will impinge the vaccine and the impact of the vaccine, but we will know that in the coming days and weeks as the vaccine is as the new strand is cultured.
London joins much of the rest of the country under Tier 3 restrictions. A government plan to relax these measures for a few days over Christmas itself is fueling fears of a third wave in the new year.
It appears that COVID-19 is triggering a fungal infection that can be deadly. Doctors at Sir Ganga Ram Hospital have witnessed 15 cases of COVID-19 triggered mucormycosis fungus. Black fungus or mucormycosis is a serious but rare fungal infection caused by a group of molds which exist in the environment. Mucormycosis mainly affects people who have health problems or take medicines that lower the body's ability to fight germs and sickness. The fungus can cause loss of eyesight, removal of the nose and jawbone, and if it affects the brain, then there is 50% chance of death of the patient. Dr. Manish Munjal, senior ENT surgeon at the hospital, was reported saying that the frequency with which we are witnessing the occurrence of COVID-triggered mucormycosis with high morbidity and mortality is alarming.
Branding them as human scum, North Korea has long been enraged by defectors releasing propaganda messages into its territory. Activists have regularly sent leaflets by balloon or in rice-filled bottles to float across the waters separating the two Koreas. The issue came to a head earlier this year with the North destroying an inter-Korean liaison office on its side of the demilitarized zone and cutting all hotline communications with the South. In a bid to restore relations with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, South Korea's Liberal President Moon Jae-in has tried to prevent the propaganda activities. The defectors have accused him of violating their rights to free speech.
Aid being distributed on the ground in the regional capital of Tigray for the first time since fighting began here more than a month ago.
All our Red Cross volunteers uploaded in motion, all for the assistance of the population in the region.
As supplies from the Red Cross went out Monday, the Ethiopian government said power and telephone links had been restored to the city of Mekelle, marking the end of a virtual communications blackout since federal troops began their successful offensive in early November. Thousands are believed to have been killed in the government's war on the local ruling party known as the Tigray People's Liberation Front, while nearly 1 million have been forced to flee. Some have taken shelter in refugee camps across the border in Sudan.
Ghislaine Maxwell, the British socialite accused of procuring young girls for the late financier Jeffrey Epstein to sexually abuse, has pledged a bail package worth nearly $30 million in a bid to get herself out of a New York jail. Maxwell has pleaded not guilty to helping Epstein recruit and groom underage girls as young as 14 to engage in illegal sexual acts in the mid-1990s. She also maintains that she did not lie under oath. Maxwell is scheduled to stand trial from July next year, and if found guilty, faces up to 35 years in prison. In court filings released on Monday, she maintained her innocence and denied that she was a flight risk. The filing reads that, quote, Miss Maxwell wants to stay in New York and have her day in court so that she can clear her name and return to her family. They also disclosed that Maxwell has been married since 2016 and that she and her husband would post a $22.5 million bond secured by all their assets towards bail.
Ships like Indian bulk carrier Jaganand have been making billions for Australia, delivering coal to China.
I'm one of the crew of Jaganand and still we are waiting for our rescue.
The coal trade's gone cold, stranding Jaganand's 23 crew at sea off the port in Jintang in northern China, 6 months after leaving Gladstone with high-quality coking coal.
Please help us get home as early as possible.
If reports coming out of China are right, the ordeal is far from over for the ship's crew.
We can only treat these as media speculation in the Chinese state-owned media.
10 Chinese power stations reportedly told by Beijing not to use Australian coal, in favour of coal sourced from Mongolia, Indonesia and Russia.
Passengers aboard Alaskan Airlines Flight 1367 watching as a man appears on one of the plane's wings. passengers trying to make sense of what's going on as Metro Police swarmed in around 2 o'clock. The man can be seen laying down, crawling, and walking on the wing. At one point, he's seen trying to climb up on the wing's end. Clark County Fire Department crews can be heard trying to figure out how to get the man down safely.
We want to make contact with the pilot and see if we can get access interior aircraft, go through the wing doors. They've asked us to put a ladder up against the wing.
Metro officers eventually made their way onto the wing, and when they tried to apprehend him, he falls. He was then taken into custody.